Hello and welcome to Lesson 1, an introduction to carbon footprint. We all know that climate change is a reality, and the question we ask is how can we reverse this trend and hope to create a better future? Well, carbon footprint is one concept which, if understood well, can help us to start a journey to building a better future. So, let's go ahead and build our understanding on what carbon footprint really means and how it is going to help us. Essentially, carbon footprint is nothing but a tool that helps us to quantify our impact on the environment. It gives a number to how much we are impacting our environment. Whatever activities we do as a part of our daily life, it emits at least one of the six greenhouse gases. Now, if by some means you can measure that and tell exactly how much greenhouse gas emissions you are doing, that is nothing but your carbon footprint. Scientifically, this is how you would define carbon footprint as a sum total of all greenhouse gases produced due to human activities, whether directly or indirectly. This is because every human activity utilizes some resources. Right from the time you wake up in the morning and when you are in school, till the time you go back to sleep, and even when you are sleeping, you consume a lot of resources. And the usage of these resources releases, as I had just said before, at least one of the six greenhouse gases. Now, if you can measure how much, that becomes your carbon footprint. Just to go back, carbon footprint helps you to quantify your impact on the environment. It is able to tell you that because of your lifestyle, because of the way you are using the resources, how much greenhouse gas emissions you're actually making. Let's try to understand this with an example. When you drive your vehicle from, say, point A to point B, you burn petrol or diesel, depending on the type of car you have. Both of them are a fossil fuel resource, and when you use them, that is, burn them to drive your car, carbon dioxide, which is one of the six greenhouse gas, is released. So, if you can somehow measure how much carbon dioxide did you release when you move from point A to point B, that would become your carbon footprint. Also note that this is an example of direct greenhouse gas emission. Let us look at an example of an indirect greenhouse gas emission. When you use electricity at home, somewhere far, far away in a thermal power plant, coal is being burnt. Now, coal is again a fossil fuel made up of carbon. So when you burn coal, carbon dioxide gas is released into the atmosphere. This means that every time you use an electrical appliance, you are emitting carbon dioxide. Now, if you can somehow figure out a way to measure how much carbon dioxide is being released into the atmosphere every time you use an electrical appliance, that becomes your carbon footprint. After having understood what carbon footprint really means, it brings us to a more fundamental question. Why do we really need it? Here's a very simple philosophy. To be able to manage something, you need to first measure it and know how much of it is really affecting us or the world around us. It is just like if you want to reduce your weight, you need to first know how much you are actually weighing. Only then can you make a much more logical plan to reduce your weight. Similarly, to reduce our impact on the environment in a logical manner, we need to first know how much exactly are we impacting our environment. Once we know that, it would be much simpler for us to reduce our impact. Just to do a quick recap, in this chapter, we looked at what carbon footprint means. We looked at the basic definition of carbon footprint, and we also tried to understand why do we really need to know about carbon footprint. In the next chapter, we're going to learn more about the units of carbon footprint and a new concept of equivalence and why they're relevant.